So good morning and welcome to our webinar with the California Department of General Services. My name is James Forrest. I'm the program coordinator, and this is the How to Do Business with the California State Government webinar. We are very lucky to have Wayne Gross here. He is the Business Outreach Liaison with the Office of Small Business in DVBE Services, California DGS. So Wayne is a cool guy and an excellent presenter, so you guys are in for a treat. He's also hosting a follow-up webinar tomorrow, so we hope you join us. Before I hand things over to Wayne's capable hands, I just want to talk a little bit about PTAC, Norcal PTAC in specific. We are the Northern California Procurement Technical Assistance Center, and we are hosted by the Humboldt State University Sponsored Programs Foundation. That means we are administered on the campus up where that red star is, way up at the top. And that is Arcata, California, up in Humboldt County. As you can see, our service area covers 15 counties in Northern California, mostly on the coast here and in the rural north inland. We are funded primarily by the Defense Logistics Agency, that's the DLA. And we also have state and grant sources from, we get local, we get state money, but mostly it's federal. And we have three basic core services. And with these services, we've helped our clients win hundreds of millions of dollars. In 2020 alone, we helped our clients win more than $314 million in government contracts. And that's nearly twice as much in 2019. So we're on a nice upward trajectory. So you've come to the right place if you do want assistance. This is an example of one of our resources and trainings that we put on with partners constantly. But we also have one-on-one counseling. That's kind of the meat of what we do. We have a team of procurement specialists. If you apply, if you're in a service area, you get accepted, I can connect you with any one of our procurement specialists who live across the country who can meet with you remotely to go over all of the processes of selling your goods and services to the government. And there are a lot of different topics. We can do capability statement preparation. We can do bid research, marketplace research, of course, helping you get your certifications, SAM, DUNS, but also WOSB, DVBE, all sorts of certifications as well. So you can take a look at our website if you want to see the full list of services. We also do custom bid matching for our clients. So once you apply and you're in our database, we can set up criteria with you, put it in a system, and then based on what you sell and what you want to bid on, in your inbox every morning, you'll have an email with the opportunities available to you that match those criteria. So that's pretty cool. You can bid on them as soon as they come up. You don't have to do the research every day if you don't want to. That's a paid service that we offer to our clients for free. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we do resources and trainings like this one. We're constantly doing webinars. We've really ramped up our webinars during the COVID pandemic. Everything's remote, so we're able to put on a ton of webinars, and they're all free, available to join from anywhere. So we have someone from Beijing today. That's very cool. Everyone's welcome to join for these. You don't have to be a client. And you can check out our website, norcalptac.org/calendar, or click on the calendar tab once you're on the homepage there, and that will show you all of our upcoming events and some partner events that we also want to advertise. And while you're there, if you are in our service area in this 15 counties, go ahead and apply by clicking on that red Apply Now button. That will bring you to our application portal, fill out steps 1 through 7 and send it over to me. I'll be notified and I will connect you with a procurement specialist if you're eligible. So our eligibility criteria are basically that you're in our service area, you have a for-profit business, and you're interested in government contracting. And that your for-profit business should probably be already on the ground running. So we kind of want you to have at least a quarter of sales under your belt. If your cash flow is positive, then you'll probably be a good client. So if you're not in this service area, don't worry. There are a bunch of PTACs across the country. In fact, there's almost 100 of them, and there's 6 in California alone, 6 or 7. So you can go to aptac-us.org/find-a-PTAC at the bottom. All these links will be clickable when you get the slides later today. And you will be able to find your local PTAC looking up the state and then your county. A little bit of housekeeping before we hand things over to Wayne. In this version of Zoom webinar, there's a chat as well as a Q&A. So the chat is for stuff like greeting and saying hello, tech issues, both of which we've seen already today. You can use use the chat for that. I won't be reading aloud questions that are entered in the chat. So if you want a question read aloud, and we do have a lot of Q&As today. The way Wayne likes to do is about every 10 slides or so, there's a Q&A. So you want to think of questions as you're going along, enter them in the Q&A as soon as they come up, and chances are it won't be too long before we get to them. So do enter all the questions you have in the Q&A, and we can follow along, and I'll read them aloud, and then once they're answered, you can see them in the queue there in the Q&A button. So pretty cool feature. And like I said before, this is being recorded. The slides as well as the recording will be posted to our website and shared to everyone later today as soon as it's done processing. So you can also find all of our old webinars on our website at norcalptech.org/webinars. Okay, there's my spiel. And now we are happy to have Wayne Gross giving the main presentation. And take it away, Wayne.
And thank you. Again, my name is Wayne Gross. I'm a business outreach liaison with the Department of General Services, state of California. I bring 13 years of experience in doing this. And you see my email address, wayne.gross@dgs.ca.gov, and my cell phone, 916-230-4417. My normal hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Well, I'm also certified to teach in the public school system. And one of the things that two things that I learned. Number one was the only dumb question is the one you don't ask. And usually what happens is that question doesn't come between my work hours of 7 to 4. It's usually you're sitting there Monday night watching Dancing with the Stars or American Idol, whatever, and that question comes up. You know, text me, call me. Don't be surprised if I actually respond to you. I'm your atypical state worker. I take pride in making sure that you have your answer as quickly as possible. The other is what we call the KISS principle. Back in the 70s, that expression was used all the time. Keep it simple, stupid. And that's my mantra. I try to explain this on a basic level so that you will understand the first time you hear it. So our topics today will be number one, the overview of our small business / disabled veteran business enterprise program. And I'm going to call it DVBE for simplicity. We're going to talk about the 3 state certifications, the benefits of being certified, the Cal eProcure registration and certification, keywords, and the UNSPSC codes. And UNSPSC stands for the United Nations Specialty Product Specialty Codes. We'll look at where the current bids are housed. We'll look at past purchases. This gives you an idea of how much the contracts were for and who got them. We'll talk about the advocates. These are the gatekeepers of the different agencies. We'll talk about the California Multiple Award Schedule. If you've ever heard of the GSA, General Services Administration, that is the federal equivalent. That's how the feds buy. And CMAS is one way that we buy here in California. We'll talk about commercially useful function, or CUF, and finally, resources. So the states has 2 goals, an aspirational goal for small business of 25% and a mandatory goal of 3% for disabled veterans. And last year, we did 10.5 billion, and 2.5 billion went to small businesses and 336 million went to DVBEs. Unfortunately, we did not meet our small business goal. We were at 23%. And there were two reasons why. The first one is obvious, that thing called COVID. And the other is the fires. Both emergency situations, we needed to get whatever the agency was looking for, be it small business, DVBE, or just, hey, the company could sell it to us and we needed it now. So this next year, hopefully we will be in a better situation for COVID as well as the fires. So, as I said before, we have 3 certifications: small business for the purposes of public works, and the DVBE program. And like I said before, we operate under the KISS principle. I don't think you can get any more basic than these requirements for small business. You must be independently owned and operated. You can't be dominant in the field of operation. Now that phrase is taken right out of the regs. What that means in English is that there's competition. There's at least someone else doing what you're doing somewhere. The office, the principal office has to be here, located in California. We do not want the riffraff from Oregon, Nevada, any of those. This is a California program. So obviously the owners have to be domiciled here in California. And together with affiliates, a business with 100 or fewer employees and have an average over the previous 3 tax years, gross annual receipts of 15 million or less, or you could be a manufacturer with 100 or fewer employees. Pretty simple. Well, we're working on our 2nd year now. We have this new one, it's called Small Business for Public Works. Here again, these first 4 items should look the same because they're exactly the same as the small business. Independently owned and operated, cannot be dominant in the field, must have principal office located in California, and the owners are domiciled here in California. Now, here's where it changes. Instead of 100 or fewer employees, it's now 200 or fewer employees, and the gross annual receipts are now 36 million for the last 3 years. It's an average, okay? And if you are a manufacturer, you have to meet both the 200 employees and the 36 million. Here again, the KISS principle. Whoop. Okay, for the DVBE, you have to be at least 10% service disabled. You actually have a letter from the Department of Veterans Affairs saying that you have that, at least 10%. And we ask for proof. We need a copy of that letter. You must own at least 51%. And if you are a limited liability company, it must be wholly owned by 1 or more disabled veterans. And here's the gotcha. And this is not only for the state certification, but also the federal certification. The daily business operations must be managed and controlled by 1 or more disabled veterans. The disabled veteran or veterans who manages and controls the business is not required to be the disabled veteran business owner. But the whole point is that the disabled veteran is in charge of the daily operations and knows what's going on. They're not just a figurehead. So with that, are there any questions, Mike?
Looks like we do already have one question.
Oh no,
here.
already?
Uh-oh.
Pressure's on.
But first, Wayne, could you move your camera a little bit down so we can see more of your, there we go. All right. Howdy. Okay, we have a question from Stephanie here. It's a question about certifications and licenses. Stephanie's asking, my company has a Class B general building contractor's license, but I see a lot of C-class certifications required on IFBs. My question is, does the Class B trump the Class Cs, or will we need to be certified for those specific Class Cs?
When you get certified for the general, okay? If it says that you need a specific Class B license or whatever, each solicitation is different. So whatever the requirements of that solicitation would be, would dictate what licenses you have to have.
Okay, great. It looks like someone's entering questions into the chat. If you could enter your questions in the Q&A, I will read this one aloud, but just a reminder, as soon as they pop in your head, go ahead and show that you're thinking about these questions by putting them in the Q&A feature in Zoom webinar. That way everyone can follow along. Debrina is asking, can you get certified if you are a new small business with less than 50,000 in revenues?
Absolutely. That's the nice thing about the state. You can be a startup, okay? Whereas on the federal side, you have to have at least 2 years experience. So if nothing else, get your feet wet on the state side, you get the experience, then expand, go on the federal side.
And Herman is asking, if I'm a new business started in 2021, how do I show 3 years of receipts or earnings?
You don't have to, obviously, okay? The system will adjust by, there's a question on the application of when did you start your business? And so if you started in 2021 and you haven't even completed your first tax return, the system adjusts, okay? And so they'll, obviously for 18, 19, and 19, 20, those years are going to be 0 and 0 because you didn't create until 21, so.
Perfect, good answer. All right, let's move on. And just a reminder, there's going to be plenty of Q&A, so keep entering your questions into the Q&A window.
The benefits of certification. What happens is once you get certified, you get put into our database. And our database is called Cal eProcure. And you will set up a profile that the world can see. And then we have a small business bid preference and a DVBE incentive. We're going to talk about the Prompt Payment Act, and then we'll talk about reciprocity partners. Those are agencies throughout the state that honor our small business and or DVBE certification. Why do I bring those to your attention? Would you like to have more opportunities to put money in your pocket? Then listen very carefully to that section. So the small business preference. This is in a formal solicitation. It has to be written into the solicitation. And so we have bidder A and bidder B. Bidder A is not certified, but bidder B is. So here what happens is bidder A bids 100,000 and bidder B bids 102. Now, just with this, bidder A should win. They're the lower of the two bids, right? However, it states that there is a 5% small business preference. So as the administrator, I'm going to take 5% of the lowest non-certified bid. In this case, the 100,000. So I take the 5% and I get $5,000. I'm now going to subtract it from the lowest certified bid of 102. And now I'm at 97. So the certified bid is 97 and the non-certified bid is 100. I'm now lower as the certified bid of 97. Now, there's the good news is you get the bid, okay? It's yours, okay? The best news is you get it at the original 102,000. So it has here, it pays to get certified. And the one thing I didn't mention was how much is it out of pocket cost to you to get certified? Well, I hate to tell you this, but it's free. Okay, you can't beat the cost. And you can see why an advantage would be here, okay? Now, the other issue is the DVBE situation. And it can have an incentive from 0 up to 5%. And here again, it is only on formal solicitations. Now, if we go to our website, which is www.caliprocure.ca.gov, I highly recommend that you make this a favorites. Therefore, you never have to type in www.caliprocure.ca.gov. Just push your favorites button. And there, as you scroll down, there are 4 squares, and we're going to look at the top right one, how to get certified. And we're on this page, and we're going to scroll down until we come to the prompt payment program assistance. And this describes everything you need to know. And the prompt payment is for small businesses only. So if you are a DVBE and you qualify for this small business, and 95% of the DVBEs do, get certified for both. Okay, and this is one of the main reasons. The Prompt Payment Act says that if you turn in an quote unquote an undisputed invoice to your administrator, that within 45 days, you should get paid, okay? Now, if it goes beyond 45 days, that agency is required automatically to add a late fee. And the late fee percentage is, I believe, 0.125%, okay? So if you were supposed to be paid $10,000 and it's day 60, you're going to get 15 days of late payment fees, okay? And the thing is, if it goes, let's say, to 60 days, and they just give you an original $10,000 payment, you contact them and say, hey, I'm entitled to 15 days worth of late fees. The last thing is, let's go back to our homepage of Cali Procure. Scroll down to the 4 boxes, and it has here find, training, and resources. We're going to go on this page and scroll down, and I believe it's the 6th heading under resources to grow your business. And the first bullet says leverage your state certifications to other agencies. And this is our reciprocity partners. And it is divided through the Bay Area, Sacramento, Yolo, Bay Area, Los Angeles, and San Diego. And you'll notice that it has the organization and it has the different certifications that they accept. Now, under each one of these agencies, it's underlined. And what that means is it's going to take you to their certification page. So I clicked on BART because I love this one. In the middle, it says new user, register to do business with BART, and you click the register button, okay? And then you fill out their application. And then what I tell people to do, and this will make more sense in about 25 slides, but you want to start getting contact information. Okay, I'm going to show you an Excel spreadsheet of all the agencies that you'll be contacting in the state. And for your reciprocity partners, you want to go in to BART's main page. In their search engine, put in either contract or procurement, and then you'll get a list of their buyers. And so then you start this Excel spreadsheet and you put the agency, in this case BART, the supplier ID number that you'll get, and then the buyer's name, their phone number, and their email address. And so you'll have all that information that you'll want to put into this Excel spreadsheet, and you'll use it to contact these buyers saying, you know, to BART, hey, I'm certified with you guys, and this is what I can do. Can you help me? Okay. You'll also put that supplier ID number on, if you have a website, you want to make sure that all of your different agencies, their supplier ID numbers are there, and on your signature block on your emails. The last thing you would put, like for the state, you're going to put capital S, capital B, or SB-PW, or DVBE, okay? Space, pound sign, and your supplier ID number. That identifies you in our database, so that if you send an email and it goes, oh, you're certified small business in DVBE, I'm looking for whatever you're selling. Okay, it's subliminal marketing, but it works. Now, as we scroll down on the reciprocity page, under the San Diego, you have an area of utilities. Now, the utility companies are not, I repeat, are not reciprocity partners. However, they are part of the California Public Utilities Commission's diversity program. And so if you want to get certified with AT&T, you'll click on that and fill out their application. And you'll notice that it has here, learn more. And when you click that, it takes you to join our supplier diversity program. And if you, once you get certified as a DVBE, you are automatically entered into the supplier diversity program at the CPUC. And so what I tell people to do is to go in on this program, put in your supplier ID number, and find yourself and make sure that the information is correct. I've been told that the contact information may or may not be there. And of course you want your information there, as well as either your social security number or your federal employer ID number. Here again, it's all about accuracy. And if you have any questions with this, you would want to contact the California Public Utility Commission's advocate, and I'll show you where that information is. Are there any questions on this section?
Yes, we have a question from Abdul Sattar here. I'm a startup business, 21, perhaps started in 21. I'm a small business. I have my LLC, city operation permits, but I don't know what other permits I need for bidding with the government contracts. Could you please say something about that? Okay.
That is a certification question. And Mike, I want you to put this into the chat, 2 names. The first one is Cleta, C-L-E-T-A, and her number is 916-375-4924. The other person is Vic, 916-375-4930. These two people are certification officers. Cleta works from 7 to 4, and Vic works 8 to 5. So if you can't get a hold of one, you can get a hold of the other, hopefully. Okay, and so with specific questions like that, that would be a certification officer's their reply, because that's not my job, as they say. So, any other question?
We have a thank you here, but I don't see any more questions at the moment.
Okay.
Here we go from Icy. Icy are saying, are you saying if we are certified with Cal eProcure, we do not need to register in the clearinghouse?
If you're a disabled veteran, okay.
If you're a
DVBE. If you are a DVBE, you get certified in Cal eProcure. Once a month, the CPUC downloads all of the DVBEs in our database and puts them in their database. I don't know when, throughout, it could be the 1st of the month, the 15th of the month, whatever. But usually within that first month that you're certified, you would check the supplier database to see if you're in.
That would only apply for a DVBE certified.
That is correct.
Okay,
yes.
So everyone else does need to register.
Right. If you are in the minority, you're woman-owned, you're LGBTQ, you can also be part of the CPUC's diversity program.
But not through the state, so yeah.
Right, yes.
All right, I don't see any other questions for now, so let's go ahead and move on.
Okay, so how do you register? Okay, you're going to get certified either as an SB, SBPW, or DVBE certification. The one thing I failed to mention, and I want to talk about real quick, is the small business PW. If you are in public works, construction, okay, and you are below the 100 and the average of 15 million over the last 3 tax years, and you're down there, okay, you're not even near those numbers, don't get certified with the public works certification, okay? And the reason being is you're, the two are equal as far as getting notifications, et cetera. It's hard enough to remember to get certified, as a small business. And, once you get close to that 100 or the 15 million, then consider getting certified as a small business public works. Okay, so we're going to search for bid solicitations and contracts, and there's no cost. Our website is www.caleprocure.ca.gov. And again, make it a favorite. Once you're at the home page here, on the top right, it says login/register. And you're going to look under the bold bar at the bottom. It says login, and it says to get registered as a new bidder. So you click on that, and it takes you in onto 5 questions. And here again, these questions are part of the KISS principle. The first page says, do you have a federal employer ID number? You'll click that, and under that, you'll put your company name. That's the second line on the top right. You'll put in, if you click federal ID number, you'll put in your federal ID number. If you check Social Security, you put in your Social Security number. On either one, do not put the dashes in. We just want the numbers, okay? And then there's an option if you have a website, you can put that in. And so then, like I said, it's the KISS principle. They ask you, your name, if you want to put other people's names in there, just really basic stuff. If it takes you more than 2 minutes, you're dragging your feet. Anyway, so then you hit submit, and then you get this. You've successfully submitted your registration. And then it tells you to log in. Okay. Now you'll get this email. Okay. And it has your user ID that you put in, and then it's got a temporary password. And so what you're going to do is you're going to copy and paste that password into the login screen. So, and they give you the link for the login. So you put in your user ID and your temporary password, log in, and it will tell you that your login has expired. And this is for your safety, okay? Because all the information that we're going to ask is private, okay? Be it your social security number or your last 3 tax returns, whatever. And when we're asking for a tax return, we want all 75 pages. We just don't want page 10 that tells what your gross annual receipts are. We want a complete copy of your tax return. So then you're going to log in, or you're going to hit continue, and then you're going to change your password. And so then anytime else now, you'll log in using your new password. And you'll notice at the bottom, I've got a something circled that says, I forgot my password. Okay. I don't know about you, but depending on the website that I'm using, did I use that old one? Did I use that new one or whatever? Anyway, you click that, you put in your user ID, and they will generate a temporary password. And then you go in with the temporary password, then put in your new password. Just a sidebar on the password, it needs to have at least 8 characters, 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, 1 number, and 1 special. And the special is hitting shift and 1 to 0 on the top. So once you're logged in, you're going to go back and you're going to find out that it has your get started on your work center here, okay? And then it says get certified, apply. And on the top are PDFs, and it reviews all of the requirements. The biggest thing I tell people is once you get started, like I said, the registration takes 2 minutes because you're just establishing a username and password. I tell people to PDF their tax returns before you do anything else, okay? And then you have all these options. And like I said, if you are a DVBE and can qualify for the small business, do both of them here. Check small business and DVBE, okay? And then you're going to click next, and then you're going to get the 7-page application. Here again, I have given you 2 certification officers' names, Cleta and Vic. They are the people that you ask the questions to because that's their job. They are certification officers. And the nice thing is they've been doing this for years and years and years. And what will happen is if you're stuck on a question, you don't understand it, or you just want to make sure, call them, and then they'll say, oh, well, you answered question 4, yes. How about question 3 or question 5? How do you answer that? They're there to help you. Now, there's going to be a section on keywords and the UNSPSC classifications. When you put in your keywords, okay, these are words that describe what you do. And we want one word per line. We want the singular, not the plural. And you don't have to repeat words. Okay, well, if you've said it once, that's all you need, because it's going to be a Google search when I'm trying to find you. With the UNSPSC codes, it's an 8-digit code to identify a good or a service. And we use the parent codes as well as the 8-digit specific codes. The parent code ends in 00. So in this example, the parent code is printing and writing paper. The 8-digit specific code ends in 01 through 99. Okay. Are there any questions on this section?
Yeah, we do have a couple questions here. Sarah Kasani has a technical question about troubleshooting with Cali Procure. She says, I tried this process yesterday, but never got an email with a password. When I click forgot password, I don't get an email. Maybe the email is incorrectly input. Email didn't hear a response back. Is there someone I can call to resolve or reset this? Because when I hit re-register, it says my tax ID is currently registered.
Okay, that would be a question to ask Cleta. Okay.
That's a Cleta question. All right, and I did put Cleta's number in the chat there.
Again, 916-375-4924.
Repost that there. And Dixon is asking, if you're a startup, do they accept personal tax returns?
Yes, because that's what you have.
Fair enough.
You're just validating it, that's all.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, that's right.
It's Wayne's favorite principle. Is that?
Yeah.
Cassidy is saying, hi, what is the nonprofit veteran service agency? I wonder if Cassidy means if there's a veteran service agency for nonprofits, or if
okay, there is a certification for nonprofits for veterans. Okay.
There is.
Yes. And if you let me go back on the here we go. Okay, on the get certified, the 5 different ones, it is the 4th one, nonprofit veteran service agency. And like I said, there's a PDF that explains it. And the nonprofits are not, they don't get certified, okay? They get what they call recognized. And the only advantage of the nonprofits is the Prompt Payment Act, okay? Where they turn in an undisputed invoice, they are to be paid within 45 days.
Okay, thank you. Mike is saying, forgive me if this is a basic question. All questions are welcome, Mike, it's fine. But this is all brand new to me, of course. On the PTAC site, is there a, looks like it's actually for me, is there a detailed listing of the types of services that are needed or could apply? We don't have a specific industry requirement. Some industries are better than others for government contracting in general. If you're selling scented candles, that's probably not going to have a great chance of there just being a lot of bids on which to actually apply.
But you never know.
you never know. Yeah, we want to find a nice balance between being encouraging and open-minded, but also realistic. So but we won't turn you down. It's best if you sell something like office supplies, janitorial, construction, things like that. But the state and the federal government, local governments really do buy just about everything.
I'm saying the state is the 5th largest economy in the world, and basically we tell people, you know, if you're selling it, we're probably going to buy it. You may have to look a little harder to find it.
Yes.
You know, but I'm going to show you a way to do that too. So.
Okay, cool. Very helpful. But certainly if you're in a service area, you can go ahead and give me a call and we can go over your business details and see if you make a good client. Thanks, Mike. Cassidy says, thank you. Christine Best looks like she posted the Cal eProcure website, which I also posted as well. So there we go. And someone said that Cal website looked like it was down. And that's not the case for me, at least. It looks like it's working just fine if you click on that link. So
I believe it was down yesterday.
Oh, okay.
But that was yesterday. So
yeah, it's a brand new day.
That's right. Trust me, with as many people that get on it, they needed to get it fixed immediately.
All right. I think that's it for now. Take it away.
Okay. Oh, this is the good part. We're going to talk about specific solicitations and past purchases. And our website for solicitations is the California State Contracts Register, or the CSCR. And the past purchases is our Skippers, which is State Contract and Procurement Registration System. So we go home, caliprocure.ca.gov, and on the top, it says Quick Links. We're going to open that up, and the first option says Find Bid Opportunities. So this is the search engine. There are 3 ways that you can do a search. The first is event name, and then event ID, and then department. Under event name, if you're looking for a painting solicitation, you put in paint and hit search. If you happen to have the event ID for that specific solicitation, you would put it in there and hit search. Under department, to the right are 3 black lines. And once you click it, it's going to give you a list of the different departments. So if you're wanting all of Caltrans solicitations, you would click the 3 bars and then look for Department of Transportation, because Caltrans is a generic name that we have. You look for Department of Transportation, just like CalVet, Department of Veterans Affairs. So I'm going to show you this now. And like I said, this list is numeric. It is not alphabetic. So if you're looking for DGS, you have to scroll down to wherever DGS is on this list. I didn't make the list up. So anyway, so I've got an event ID that I'm putting in, and I hit search, and there it is. Okay, so I'm going to download it, and this is what the details look like. Now you'll notice in the second column, it has event end date, and it says at exactly 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on February 15th, this place will close. So what that is telling you is you better have your quote in before 2 o'clock on the 15th. Now, I have a contact information of Robert Fisher, and I'm surprised that he's actually given me a phone number, okay? 99% of the time, you will not, I repeat, you will not get a phone number. And that is for your protection, because I'm going to call Robert and see if I get an answer. If not, I'll email him and say, hey, Robert, I can't get this to you by 2 o'clock today. Okay, can I fax it to you? And he goes, oh, Wayne, no problem. And he gives me the fax number. Okay, so 5 minutes to 2, I start the fax and it ends at 2 minutes after. Now, Michael, you're listening. Would that be a viable quote? The answer is no. It's not the start of the fax, it's the end of the fax. So I would have started at 1:30 and prayed that there wasn't any paper jams or whatever. That's just a nice little bar for that, okay? Next, on the top right, it has here, view event package, and then it says post a vendor ad. And then under the contact information, let me again talk about that. That the reason that they don't give you a phone number is because if I wanted to protest this solicitation and I'm in front of a judge and the judge says, do you have proof of what you're asking about? And I go, oh, this email signed and dated. So that's why we normally don't have phone numbers on this, okay? And then we have pre-bid conference. And in this case, it's not applicable. Caltrans is notorious for having mandatory pre-bid conferences. And that is to your benefit if you're going to be a sub, because the mandatory pre-bid conferences are for the primes. They have to log in, they got to sign in. And so if they're not at that pre-bid conference, they can't bid on it. And so what happens is once the Caltrans in particular has their programs, people ask questions, whatever, then what they do is they tell the primes to go to assign tables, and then you as a sub can go to each one, introduce yourself, give them your capability statement. That's a resume, which we'll talk about here. And then go on to the next one. So, you know, it's not about what you know, but who you know. So the more people that you can get in front of that, you know, that make the decisions, better off for you. So this is the attachments for all, there are like 12 different attachments for this bid. And you want to make sure that you follow the instructions to a fault, if you will. The biggest complaint that has been, that everyone talks about is signing a piece of paper. Out of these 12 different files, 5 of them may require your signature. It's basically validating, you know, a signature and a date type thing. So make sure that you understand each one of these requests. This is the application, if you will, to post an ad, and it is really difficult, and I'm being very sarcastic. You see, you put your name, your email, your phone number, you give it a title, and then you give it a description. Now, you are given 2,000 characters, not words, but characters. So once you start typing, it goes down 1999, 98, you get to see it, okay? And so the first thing that I tell everyone to do is put your supplier ID number on there first, okay? And here's why. If the prime is looking at this and they read, oh, well, Wayne, you can, I need a fence. So there's my ID. He goes into the database, he finds me, he opens up my profile. The first thing he's gonna look at is, am I current on my certification? Because if I'm not current, he can't use it, okay? So I'm out of luck. Okay. Dumb me for letting my certification expire. Okay. So, and here by putting an ad in, it's saying that, yes, I'm interested in this solicitation. Okay, as you scroll down the solicitation, there's the UNSPSC codes, and you'll notice that it's an 8-digit code for freight fee. Okay, and then it has contract type and service area, and they're not applicable. Okay, so it gives you all the information that you need. Now, let's go back to caliprocure.ca.gov. Under quick links, the fourth option is find past purchases, skippers. So you can do a search of past contracts. These are completed. They're signed, sealed, and delivered. They've been paid, okay? There's nothing pending on these. You either can put in a description or you can do an advanced search. And I highly recommend you do the advanced search. And the UNSPSC code comes up. And so you put in a specific code and then hit search. And either way, you get this giant Excel spreadsheet. And it starts with the department, who owns that contract. It's got the purchase order, the document. So if you wanted to see the original quote, you would ask the buyer, where I'll show you that information, and say, hey, would you kindly give me a copy of the original solicitation? And as you go across, it tells you what the first item of the contract was for, how much, did a certified small or DVBE buy it? And then at the very end, it gives you the buyer's name and their email, okay? Now, also on the left, it shows you how was it bought, okay? So, because there's different methods of buying. Anyway, on the buyer's name and email, I know I'll be transitioning into the advocates, but every time if you want to write Michelle Ramos Brown an email, also do a CC to her advocate. In this case, it's the prisons, okay? And so, and the reason you do that is it's keeping we don't like to give out the buyers' names, okay? We want you to talk directly to the advocates. And so out of respect for the advocate, just make sure that you do a CC to the advocate. Any questions on this section?
I do see one question. I just want to note it is 11 o'clock now. And I do believe this was billed as a 1-hour webinar. It could have been 1.5 one. But in any case, if you guys leave early, that's fine. But I just put a link in the chat for a satisfaction survey. It means a lot to us if you can just let us know how we did. It also means a lot to our funder. So it's a very helpful thing. You can do it. Just takes less than a minute if you want, and you can fill it out anonymously. Okay, so the question we have is from Icy. Icy is saying, my business is to partner in contract with the state public health, Cal OES and or DGS.
Okay.
There are no existing solicitations for my services related to COVID-19. Who do I contact at these agencies to present my services in hopes of creating and obtaining a contract?
Can you hold that question to the next section?
Okay.
I will be answering that question.
All right. And Amanda's asking, how do you find their advocates?
That's going to be the same answer to the previous question here in a minute.
All right. And Dixon is saying, does the state tend to offer goods procurement, or are there also projects available?
Everything.
Goods and
We do it
services.
all.
Yep. Christine is saying, for micro purchases, how would we connect with buyers for orders under 5,000? Same answer.
Yeah, except I just want to do a sidebar on that. It used to be anything under 5,000. We raised the ante to anything under 10,000 now.
Okay. And then Sarah's saying, what's the best way to search for professional service bids?
Skippers.
Skippers?
Knowing what the UNSPSC code is, and if you're trying to find out what a specific code is, if you go to www, write this down, Michael, okay? www.unspsc.org. unspsc.org. And there's you can put, yeah, and it goes, you either can put in the code if you happen to know it, or underneath is a keyword. So you'd put in the keyword and then you would get the actual code.
Okay, perfect. We got a couple questions we're gonna answer through the next presentation, but let's go ahead and get back to the main thing.
Okay.
Wayne?
Okay. The small business DVBE advocates, okay? These are the gatekeepers of the different agencies, okay? And like I said, we want you to contact them, not the buyers. Caltrans has told the world, you will not talk to one of my buyers. You must talk to the advocates. And any agency that procures $100,000 or more must have an advocate. So where are these advocates located? We go to caliprocure.ca.gov. We click on the bottom right, find training and resources. The fifth heading says research and marketing. The second bullet is contact a small business or DVBE advocate. So we click on that and it takes you to their directory. You click on that square, download the advocate directory, and you get this giant Excel spreadsheet of about 240 names. Now, the one thing I haven't talked about is this thing called the small business DVBE option. And what that is, the buyer has the option of going in, and it's for IT and non-IT goods and services from 5,000 and a penny up to 250,000 minus a penny, and from 5,000 and a penny up to 333,000 for public works. The buyer goes in and finds at least 2 small businesses or 2 DVBEs. You need a minimum of 2 for competition. And if you are certified small business and DVBE, you're in both arenas. If the buyer's looking for small business, you're small business certified. If they're looking for DVBEs, you're a DVBE. So you're in both fields. So that's another reason to get certified for both if you qualified. Now, 5 years ago, our director at DPS said that this was a bunch of baloney, okay? Because he's got people like me doing workshops like this, trying to lure you into getting certified. So it only makes sense that we should, turn the tables and say, okay, let's come to you first since you got certified. So we created the first policy. And what we did was we dropped the 5,000 and a penny down to 0. So anything up to a penny less than 250 minus a penny for IT and non-IT goods and services, and from 0 up to 333,000 for public works. They still have to come up with at least 2 small businesses or 2 DVBEs. Okay, so why do I bring that to your attention? You see these 2 highlighted yellow lines. Highway Patrol and Public Utilities Commission. Okay, they are the first policies. There's 11 of them, and so if you have a good or service that they can buy, these are the first 11 agencies that you would contact first. Okay, so and if you are in construction, the only people that you have to contact are the people in this column are the people with the X. Okay, so if you are both, if you are initially marketing and you are in construction, the first person that you would contact would be Highway Patrol because they're first policy in construction. Then you'd go down until you came to the next one, which is Department of General Services. And because they're first policy and construction. You see how you intersect those? Then you go back up to the top and do highway patrol or high-speed rail and prison industries, and then all the California state universities, and go down the list. Okay. Also, I just want you to see for those people that are going to do the DVBE and get and want the reciprocity partners for the utilities. You see here it has your California Public Utilities Commission, Bezawit Dilgaza. Her nickname is BZ, okay? And so BZ would be your contact if you have any questions on that supplier diversity program, okay? And need any help getting into that database. Now, okay, where, the slide is empty, but what it's supposed to be on is our 30-second elevator speech. I've given you a list of people to contact. Now I'm going to tell you what to say. Every one of these advocates has either been trained by me or one of my peers. And so you're going to give them 4 items, and write this down, please. Number 1, your full name. Number 2, your company name. Number 3, your certification number. And 4, what you do. Now I tell people, write it down because you're going to be talking on the phone with them, okay? And so it would go something like this. Good morning, Tracy. My name is Wayne Gross. I'm with ABC Fence Company. I'm certified as a small business and disabled veteran. My supplier ID number is 1752943. And I build fences, be it chain link, cement block, or wood. Can you help me? It was short, sweet, and to the point. Did she know I was reading it from the script? No. Okay. And after the 5th call, I should have my supplier ID number memorized. Okay. That's a number you need to memorize. Okay. And so then what happens is, we have our conversation then. And you'll notice that I slowed down when I gave her my supplier ID number, because hopefully what happens is she's pulling up my profile on the website. First thing she's going to check, am I currently certified? If not, then she's going to give me Cleta's number and get you into getting recertified, okay? But then, obviously you have a conversation with her, the advocate. Anyway, so then what I want to do is I want to close by telling the advocate, I have a capability statement. That's a resume that I'd like to send you. I have your email as and I've pulled her email off of the advocate list, right? And so what does a capability statement look like? If you Google capabilities statement examples, you will get a whole bunch of different examples, okay? And a lot of the times, like especially if you're in construction, they've got a whole section just on construction. So, and this is what a capabilities plural statement looks like. It's my pet peeve because when you read this this statement, you've got more than one capability. Okay, so pluralize it. On the bottom right, you see I have all these different certifications, and I always put DGS first for some stupid reason, right? And as you can see, I am federally certified. I'm women-owned. I'm disadvantaged business enterprise. I have all these different certifications. Okay, as well as I have a California multiple award schedule contract, and it's listed there. On the left side, I have my UNSPSC codes, and you'll notice that they are the parent codes. That's the third level. They end in 00, and I give the description. And because I'm also federally certified, I have on the right side the NAICS codes, North American Industry Classification System. Those reciprocity partners throughout the state, a lot of them use NAICS codes. So you're going to have to find out the NAICS codes. And here, just Google NAICS.org, and you'll find out what your NAICS codes are for this. And here again, you put both the code as well as the description. Any questions on this section?
We don't have any new questions since last time.
I answered all three questions with this.
Those are still to be answered, right?
No, I just answered them.
Oh, okay. Well,
with the advocates listing.
Oh, the advocates listing. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's power through.
Okay. We go back to Cali Procure. And we have the Get Certified. And it has here inside state contracting. And we're going to choose the acquisitions method. And this is a beautiful piece of paper. And this talks about the different ways the state buys, okay? And there's emergency purchases, fair and reasonable. That's anything under the 10,000. The small business DVBE option that we talked about, state contracts, and the last one is California multiple award schedule. And if you are in the construction industry, plug your ears. This does not pertain to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to contact our CMAS people, 916-375-4365. And you're give them your name. And you can tell them that Wayne sent you, okay? And you're going to tell them what you do. And you're going to say, do I qualify to get a CMAS contract? If they say yes, they will give you all the information that is required of you. If they say no, you say thank you for your time and go on with life. Now, why do I bring up CMAS contracts? Okay, first of all, I mentioned the GSA, the General Services Administration. That is the federal way of buying, okay, from the feds. It's a 90-page application and takes up to 2 years to get approved. How many people want to do that? Hopefully everyone said no, because I'm going to show you a shortcut. The shortcut is the California Multiple Award Schedule. Our application is 5 pages, and we're down to 30 days to 45 days. Okay? And why do I bring this to your attention? your small business and or DVBE certifications are good for state certification. It gets you in the door for reciprocity partners, okay? But CMAS is used for cities, or let me go back one, for all state agencies and cities, counties, school districts, community colleges, the CSU and the UC systems, okay? And so I'm trying to broaden your exposure and hopefully you can get more contracts by reciprocity as well as CMAS, okay? And like I said, if you're in construction, they don't do that, okay? But these are for goods and services. And like I said, these people will help you to the nth degree. And if you want to look at CMAS from a broader scale, go to dgs.ca.gov and put CMAS in the search engine. And you'll go to CMAS and you'll get this, you can read all about it, but I've highlighted it and I highly recommend you get it. The last thing is commercially useful function and CUF. And basically what you have written in your profile as far as UNSPSC codes and your keywords is what you actually do, okay? To perform CUF, your business is executing a distinct element of the work, performing, managing, or supervising the work, performing work that is normal for the firm's business services and functions, negotiating price, determining quality and quantity, ordering, installing, and making payment, not subcontracting a portion of the work greater than expected by industry practices. Okay? Here's what CUF isn't: an extra participant in a transaction, contract, or project through which funds are passed in order to obtain the appearance of small business DVB participation, not being used to perform the work as stipulated in the bid. When a prime has mandatory small business and or DVB participation, they have to cite you and your supplier ID number, okay? And no longer used to provide the goods or services listed in the initial bid. So for example, 2 examples, one on the first one. I'm a prime and my brother-in-law is a DVBE, okay, for carpet, okay? So I cite him, I call him up and I say, hey, Joe, I've got this contract out here. I know you're still certified as a DVB, aren't you? And he goes, yeah. I said, how about if I can use your DVBE number and I'll just pay you $5,000 under the table, okay? Do you think that happens, people? Unfortunately, all the time, okay? Another example, my brother-in-law, I cite him, I let him, he's right in the middle of laying the carpet and he gets ticked off at me and stops working, okay? I contact him, he's not responding to anything. I've given him a certified letter, I've emailed him, I've called him, no replies. So what I have to do is I have to contact the administrator and say, my DVBE has stopped work, can't get a hold of him. What are we gonna do? Okay, so the administrator has to try and contact the DVBE and sends a certified letter saying if you don't respond within the next 10 days of receipt of this, then we're going to find someone else to replace you. And then there are rules and regulations that the administrator has to follow to get a substitute. Okay, so that's basically with CUF. Just whatever you say you can do, you do. Whatever you can do, you will do. Okay. Any questions on this section?
Let's take a look here. Got 2 questions from anonymous attendees. Can you find out if California is interested in paying for my services products before certifying or registering as a business?
What I would do is I'd go to Skippers and do a search, see if there's been other contracts written for it.
Marketplace research. If you're in our service area, that's also something that Norcal PTAC or your local PTAC can help you do to do some marketplace research.
Right.
Is there a way to pitch a product or service that might not be in an RFP because people don't know that it exists?
That's where you contact the advocate. Tell them what you can do. That's why you send them your capability statement, because what happens is, I'll use CHP. Yes, Tracy Bowen is the advocate. However, she's here in Sacramento. There are CHP offices around the state of California, and each one of those offices has a buyer. So what she will do is she will send your capability statement to all these buyers. So she does free marketing for you.
Perfect. And when you get the slides, you'll have the information on the advocates and all of that stuff as well.
Correct.
I don't see any other questions, so let's keep going.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay, the last thing is our resources. We have the SBDCs, which stand for the Small Business Development Centers. These are for new businesses. They do business consulting, business planning, marketing, and access to capital. Then we have this group called the PTACs, the Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. And you've been established businesses, and they do government contracting. And then you have SCORE, and these are for newer businesses. And they are a bunch of retired business people, and they do mentoring. And all of these people, okay, are free, just like me. Okay. So in review, we talked about the Small Business DVBE program, the Small Business Development Centers, state certifications, the benefits, the Cali Procure registration and certification, keywords, and the UNSPSC codes, current bid solicitations, past purchases, the Small Business DVBE advocates, commercially useful function. The one thing I didn't mention on this list, which was CMAS. And so we would, I've been doing this for 13 years. I get comments once in a while that, hey, thank you for your help. I just got my first contract or whatever. We want to hear about you, okay? So if you go to custserve@dgs.ca.gov and give us the information, we want to hear everything about you. Any other questions?
This is the final Q&A here.
I got one more thing.
One more.
Anything there?
Amanda's asking again how to make a capabilities statement. It's sort of an in-depth question.
Okay. Well, the big thing
where to
is
find a resource on it, perhaps.
Yeah, you go to Google, type in capabilities, plural, statement examples, and you will get a plethora of different types. 3 things to remember. Number 1, one page. It can be double-sided. Make sure you have your certification number or numbers if you have multiple certifications. And 3, your UNSPSC parent codes and their description. Okay?
Perfect. All right.
Okay. This is the last thing. These are just kind of neat things. If you want to be part of in our knowing what's going on in the world of DGS, we have a link here for LinkedIn. It's https:// www.linkedin.com/. linkedin.com/company/DGS-OSDS/. And you'll hear what's going on at DGS. It's really cool. So it's the first thing. And the second thing is our Microsoft bookings, okay? And if you are familiar with Microsoft Office, like Outlook, Teams, Word, Excel, okay? What we're doing now is we are offering free training sessions, and you can book appointments up to 30 days out, but no sooner than 2 days before the appointment. And you get notified a week before, a day before, an hour before the appointment, okay? And unfortunately, you can't ask for a specific person. You could possibly get me or one of my peers, but we're all qualified. And so these are the 4 appointments. One is Introduction to State Contracting. Next one is Cal eProcure Registration and Certification. The next is Find Contract Opportunities. And the last one is Update Your Cal eProcure Profiles. The appointments are available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. to noon and 1 to 3. And here is the link, is one way, okay, https:// oh, I'm not even going to read it, okay, but you can, if you have your cell phone, you can click on that and it'll take you directly to the registration link, and you can fill it all out. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Okay, and then you select the date and the service, and you can put in your name, email, okay, optional stuff, and then you book it. Again, my name is Wayne Gross. I'm a business outreach liaison. Wayne.gross@dgs.ca.gov, 916-230-4417. Back to you, Mike. Or Jim. Why do I call you Mike? Jim.
You're in the flow. You've got a whole nother set of things to worry about.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Wayne, and to everyone who joined, thank you. I'm not going to go through in any detail here. I just say we always have upcoming events. Tomorrow, if you liked what you heard today and you've been certified, you take your time today and go get certified, you can find out what to do next. Wayne will be talking about that tomorrow at 10 in the morning. So we also have a nice public works contracting series with a gentleman named Ed Duarte, who tells you like it is about everything about construction and public works projects. So that starts on April 20th. And then we've got our regular webinars about things like SAM and WOSB are always coming up. So do check our calendar. And thank you so much. If you leave, as you're leaving this webinar, you will find yourself redirected to a page that will have a link, a Google Docs link that goes to a satisfaction survey feedback, training feedback thing. If you could just fill that out real quick, it would really help us. It means a lot to us and our funders. I also put a link in the chat. As I mentioned before, all these slides and the recording that's about to end right now will be posted to our website, to YouTube. You'll get clickable links with all the slides, and those will be put on our website later today. I dropped the link in the chat as well, norcalptac.org/webinars. And hope to see you at future webinars. And thanks so much, Wayne. I appreciate everything you've done for us.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.